Hello student, in the C#.NET, today's topic is the .NET framework. In the last lecture, you learned how the evaluations of the .NET, how the three types of the technology you use, COM technology, .NET technology and the OLE technology. OLE means object linking technology, object linking embedded technology, COM means component object model based technology, and last is .NET technology. Today is .NET framework. What is the .NET framework? The .NET framework is one of the tools provided by the .NET infrastructure tool component of the .NET platform. .NET platform provides a new environment for creating and running robust, scalable and distributed, flexible, distributed application over the web. .NET strategy or the .NET platform is beyond the scope of the development of the various applications, since C# derives much of the power from the .NET framework on which it runs. The C# language, it is run on the .NET platform. .NET platform provides an environment for building, developing and running web services and the other application. On the .NET platform, .NET building blocks are available, .NET user experience, .NET device software, .NET infrastructure tool, and in the various types of the building and developing, running web services and the other applications are available on the .NET platform. Then the .NET infrastructure tool. In the .NET infrastructure tool, Visual Studio.NET, Windows.NET, .NET framework and the .NET infrastructure are available. Then in the .NET framework, the various types of the languages are available: ASP.NET, Windows Form, framework based classes. In the framework based classes, common language runtime, framework based classes. In the .NET framework, there are available framework based classes, and then common language runtime, common language runtime, framework based classes, user and program interfaces. The CLR means common language runtime, is the core of the .NET framework and is responsible for loading and running C# program. Base classes provide basic data type, collection classes and other general classes for use by the C# and the other .NET languages. Then the next is common language runtime. It is available in the common language runtime. It is also called as CLR, common language runtime. The common language runtime, popularly known as the CLR, is the heart and the soul of the .NET framework. Every program in the .NET framework, it is run on the CLR. CLR, it is a runtime environment in which program written in C# and the other .NET languages are also executed. It supports the cross-language interoperability. Cross-language means one language to another language interoperability. Interoperability, it is provides, this features is provided in the .NET framework. The CLR provides the number of the services, loading and execution of the program, memory isolation for application, verification for type safety, easily type safety, These types of the services are provided in the CLR. Compilation of the IL. Compilation IL is intermediate language. It is converted into executable code, providing metadata, data about data, memory management, easily memory management, enforcement of the security. Programs are easily executed and provide the security, managing exception and the errors. The CLR, the activity that goes when the application is executed, the source code is compiled to the IL. When you write any program in the .NET framework, the source code is compiled into intermediate language, while the metadata engine creates metadata information. IL means intermediate language and metadata linked with the native code if required, and the resultant IL code. Resultant IL code means intermediate code is saved. During the execution, intermediate code and any requirement from the base class library are together by the class loader. The combined code is tested for the type safety and then compiled by the JIT compiler. There is used the JIT compiler. JIT compiler, it is used for the native machine code, which is sent to the runtime manager for the execution. The CLR, it is used for the execution of the program. The CLR is performed, the source code is compiled to the IL and intermediate code, and while metadata engine is created to the metadata information, if IL and the metadata is linked and creates the native code. During the execution, IL code and any requirement from the base class libraries is together by the class loader, and the combined code is tested for the type safety and then compiled by the JIT compiler and produce the machine code, and which is sent to the runtime manager, runtime environment for the execution. Next is common type system. Common type system, it is called as CTS. The .NET framework provides the multiple language support using the feature known as common type system. The .NET framework provides the multiple language in the .NET framework provides VB.NET, C#.NET, Visual C++, Visual VB. There are the various types of the languages are available on the one platform, and common type system that is built in the CLR. CTS supports the variety of the types and the operation found in most programming language, and therefore calling one language from another and does not require their type conversion. The C# is specially designed for the .NET platform, and it is built, every program it is run on the .NET platform. .NET programs in a number of other languages including C++ and the Visual Basic. The common type system is a .NET framework provides the multiple language support using the feature known as the common type system that is built in the CTS. It is available in the .NET framework. Next is common language specification. Common language CLS, common language specification. Common language specification defines a set of rules. There are CLS is defines the set of rules that enables the interoperability on the .NET platform. This rule serves and guide to the third-party compiler, designer and their library builder. The CLS is a subset of CTS. CLS is a subset of CTS. CTS means common type system. Common type system is provided the multiple language supported on the .NET platform, and CLS it is a subset of CTS. These rules are served guide the third party. CLS is a subset of CTS, and therefore the language supporting the CLS can use each other class library. Their class library their class library, their classes, their methods, and their other own application program interface as their design and the rules of CLS can easily used by the .NET language. And then most important is next is Microsoft Intermediate language. Microsoft Intermediate language, and they are called as MSIL. Microsoft Intermediate language. MSIL are simply called as IL. IL means intermediate language. It is an instruction set in which all the .NET programs are compiled. It is a assembly language and contains an instruction for loading, storing, and the initializing and the calling the method. When you compile a C# any program or program written in a CLS means common type system, and then the source code is compiled into the MSIL. The source code they are compiled into the MSIL. See how the program is executed in the C#. The first is C# source code. Write the C# source code. Then compiler. Firstly write the C# source code, then compile it, then it converted into the IL and their metadata. IL and metadata. IL and their metadata. Then use the linker. Then exe. Then exe code is for link with. The firstly write the source code, then compile it, then IL and intermediate is IL is intermediate language, and then meta link it, then use their language class loader. Use the class loader, then verifier test. Then C#.NET JIT compiler is used. JIT compiler is used for the compilation of the program. Then native machine code is converted. Every program computer read in machine code. Native machine code is generated. And then their runtime manager, runtime environment, runtime manager, runtime environment is used, and then their output. Firstly write their source code, then they use the compiler, then this code is converted into the IL and the metadata. Then here is used metadata engine is used. Here their metadata engine is used. Their linker, their other native code is used, and then their class loader. They use their basic class library. First is write the C# code, then compile it, then it converted into IL intermediate language and metadata, then its linker, then their exe code is make their exe code, then their programming basic class library use, verifier test, their program is verified, then you use their JIT compiler, then use their converted into the native machine code, and they use their runtime manager and get the output. In this way, in the C#.NET programs are executed by using the .NET framework. Then last is manage code. Manage code. The CLR is responsible. CLR means Common Language Runtime is responsible for managing the execution of the code compiled for the .NET platform. The code that satisfied the CLR at runtime in order to execute refer to manage code. Compiler that are compatible to the .NET platform. The compiler, the JIT compiler, .NET platform compiler that are compatible with the .NET platform generated their managed code. The C# compiler generated their managed code generated by the C#. Other compiler capable to the generated managed code is IL code. The IL code is then converted into the native machine code by the JIT compiler. The native machine code who is converted, the JIT compiler is converted their native machine code and then compile it and get the output. In this way, manage. Who is managed? The CLR. The Common Language Runtime is managed. The CLR is responsible. Then why CLR is called is the heart and the soul of the .NET framework? Because the CLR is manage all the execution and the compilation process. The CLR is responsible for managing the execution of the every C#.NET program and every .NET platform program. The CLR is responsible for managing the execution of the code compiled by the .NET platform. This is the .NET framework. There are you learn Common Language Runtime, Common Type CTS, Common Language Specification, Microsoft Intermediate Language, and the Managed Code. Today close your session. Thank you.